Uh, Hi, Javier. To start with today's sessions, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, Nam. Okay, my name is Javi Serrano. I am from Mexico and I was raised and born in Mexico City, but I'm living now in a small town that it is close to Mexico City. It is about 70 miles from Mexico City. It's a beautiful place. The name is Cuernavaca. I know that it is difficult to pronounce, but it is Cuernavaca, and it is known as the place of the eternal spring. And I am married. I have one daughter. I am retired, and I used to work as an airline pilot for 35 years. And now I am retired and I am trying to improve my English. I want to be fluent, and that's why I am practicing and doing everything I can to try to improve it.
Okay, it's very cool. So you currently retired, so uh, and you're trying to improve your English. So can you try to share with me your like learning English journey? Like when did you start, and what makes you start learning English?
Well, learning English, well, it's been a long journey because when I was a young adult, let's say, I wanted to be a pilot, and if you want to be a pilot, you need English, no? And then here in Mexico, it is incredible, but in the schools and even in private schools and particular schools, it is mandatory to have English classes. But you know that they are very basic because it is amazing that some people uh, took English classes for maybe 10 years and they don't speak English because it is only the basic and. And then I took some classes and I had the opportunity to go to Brownsville, Texas, and I studied there to become a commercial pilot. Well, to become a commercial pilot, and then I think that I learned basic English too because in Brownsville, Texas, is a place in the United States that everybody speaks Spanish, and it is difficult because out of the school, everybody speaks Spanish, and I was living with Mexican peers, and everybody speaks Spanish. Then I returned to Mexico and I went to a school where I took grammar classes because I thought that I needed some grammar classes. And then when I got my first job as a pilot, I had a good grade in English. I think that I had a 99 in my test. But I started working, and my English in my during my job was very technical, very technical because we were in a cockpit, only talking with the control tower, with mechanics, with all the people around the airplane, and out of that area everybody speaks Spanish again, and I didn't use much my English during my job, except for 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 communications and during my job. But I don't have any problem when I go to a restaurant or to a hotel or when trying to buy something. It is not a problem for me. But when I am trying to have a deep conversation, no, there is a big wall that you don't find the words. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's true. So that's probably your struggle when you're learning English, right? So
Mhm. Yes.
so how did you overcome it, like the challenges that you faced while studying English?
Well, now you know that I am taking some English classes and online
Yeah,
with teacher Tiffani, and I think that it is a good course because I am in the course that it is the name I think it is 365 daily practices or something like that. But it is because I think that I need more structure and working this course is to work every day with one lesson. No, you take one lesson every day and you are constant, and that's what I need because to be a self-learner is very difficult. It's very difficult. You have to be very disciplined, and it is sometimes it is difficult. No, and I think that that course has helped me a lot.
sure. I heard that you're currently studying at Speak English with Tiffany Academy. So my
Yes.
question for you is, how did you find this course, like online course?
Well, I think that it was on YouTube.
Oh,
You know, when I was searching for something, because you know when you are looking or watching something in YouTube, YouTube starts sending you a lot of related videos, and then I found Tiffany in some videos, and I was interested, and then I decided to join the course.
yeah, same as me. Like I used to be in her academy, and I used to learn like with my dad and stuff. So yeah, that's how
Oh,
I also found this course. So
oh,
what is your experience you have with this learning method, like watching YouTube videos and joining the online course? Like, what is your experience like? What do you love about it?
well, it is as I told you before. Sometimes it is not easy because to be a self learner is sometimes difficult. I told you that you have to be disciplined and you have to try to do your lessons every day. I joined the course first. The name was Speak English Like a Native, and it is a good course, but it is for advanced students, I think, because sometimes you need more English. That's why I decided to join the 365 course too, because I thought that I needed some more structure and to practice more basic things that I have forgotten. No, and it's been a wonderful journey because besides the classes, you know that sometimes we have a live video lessons, classes, live videos with the students. No, that's where I met your father in one
Yeah,
of those lessons. He's a great friend, and sometimes we practice. And I think that the real thing with English is practice and practice and practice, and no, because sometimes you are learning a lot of things, but if you don't practice, it's gonna be difficult
yeah,
to
that's true.
to
I
do it.
mean, yeah, like having a chance to talk to people around the world using English is the good, is the best way to like, improve your speaking skills, communication skills, and stuff like that. Yeah, and especially your English. So,
Yeah.
uh, so right now, like, right, a lot of people like currently staying in Canada, like they are very old. Like they're most of them are from Vietnam and they've moved here a long time ago because of war and stuff. So, but they stay here for like 20 years and they don't even know how to speak English because they just use they don't learn it. So what is your advice you have for anyone who is planning to study English but afraid it is too late or it's too hard? Like, what is your advice?
Oh yes, you are right. You know something. It has been happening for years. That a lot of Mexicans, maybe in Canada too, but in the U.S. In a lot of places where they go to try to make a better way of living, they sometimes they have 20 or 30 years that they don't speak English because I think that they find a job and they are working with the same guys, let's say Spanish or maybe Vietnamese that are working together. They don't practice or
Yeah,
they don't learn any Spanish, and they are tired after work. They go home and with the family don't speak English too, and it is very difficult because they get used to that kind way of life, and they never practice. I think that it is not because they don't want. It is because sometimes they are tired, or sometimes they
yeah,
are
that's
working a lot. Some of them, that have two, sometimes three jobs, no, to
true,
try
true.
to,
That's
to,
true.
to get a better way of living. And I know that it is not easy, but well, what I recommend is, I know that in United States there are community schools where you can learn English for free,
Yeah,
but you have to go. It's like a school, You
yeah,
you
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 have to be
have to be consistent and to go every day. And I know that it is not easy. I don't know if in Canada you have that kind of schools too. But I think that some universities, some public universities, maybe have some free English classes or something like that.
I mean, they also have some free courses for like their resident to study English, but most of them they just spend most of their time going to work because they need money, and where they work is like usually farm and stuff. So like it's usually Vietnamese with Vietnamese, and they don't have to communicate using English. So I don't think they have
Mhm.
time to study English. So,
Yes.
but yeah, taking courses like a good way to study English. Yeah,
Yes. I don't remember. I have been in Toronto and I have been in Montreal too. I
yeah.
don't remember where is the place where French is spoken to. Is it Toronto?
Montreal, I think.
Montreal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know people from there that they only speak English or they only speak French. And
Oh,
and for them it's very difficult to get a job if you only speak
exactly.
one language. If you don't speak the two languages, oh man, you can't find a good job there.
Yeah, that's true. Like if you don't speak their language, it's so hard for you to find an opportunity to get a good job. So
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Uh, I also heard that you used to be a pilot, right? Which is a top tier job in my country. Like it's very hard to be a pilot.
Yes.
Since the requirement is like very hard. So, uh, my question for you is, how did you decide to become a pilot? What inspired you to pursue this career?
Okay, you know something? My father
Mhm.
used to be a mechanic.
Oh,
He
okay.
was he was a mechanic. He was an airplane mechanic.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and then since I was a child, he used to take me to the airport with him, to see the planes. Sometimes, well, for a long time he worked at night, the whole night. And let's say that when I was a teenager, I used to go with him sometimes during the weekends, the whole night with him, just to see the planes and to be with him with his friends and all that, and that's where I was interested in
Oh,
airplanes and all that. No, that's why
so
I decided to become a pilot. Yeah,
that's so cool. So, are you like a pilot for army or aviation? Like, um,
I was an airline transport pilot.
oh, Ellen
I
just.
used to work for big airlines. You know, I some years ago, let's say maybe three years ago, yeah, I was invited to Vietnam to
Oh,
have a job there with I think it was Viet Airlines or something like
Vietnam
that.
Airlines,
Yeah, Vietnam Airlines.
the
There are
biggest.
another two, yes, because they are offering jobs for ex pat pilots because they need
Oh,
a lot of pilots there. And I have some friends that are there, and I was invited. I did my application, but you know that suddenly the pandemic started
oh,
and everything was stopped. Everything was stopped, and then uh, all some of my friends were returning home because they were sent home
oh,
because
that's
all the companies were
yeah.
firing pilots and around the world. Yeah, I went to Qatar too. I went to Qatar to make some screens. I don't know if you know that the exams and tests are known as screens, screen test. No,
Oh,
screening. It is a screening, and you go there and you perform several theoretical exams and practical exams and some exams with HR and things like that. But it
okay.
was the same. The pandemic stopped everything in the world,
Oh,
and then
so
I
oh, sorry. So at that time, you still a pilot, like you still working.
yeah,
Oh, that's
yes, yes, yes,
uh
and 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 then I decided to ask for my government retirement. You know that it is like a social security, something like that, and yeah, and I decided to ask for it because I needed money, to live.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
a small a small thing, but sometimes money is needed.
That's true. So like while you were working, right, is pilot a well-paid job in Mexico, like in general? Like,
Sorry.
is pilot a well-paid job in Mexico?
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is. Yes, it is not as it used to be before, but it is. It is a good paid job. Mhm.
Oh, so like you said, you used to have Vietnam Airlines. They used to invite you to work for them. So, but because of the pandemic, everything didn't work. So, my question with you is, which airline did you work for?
Okay, I worked for in Mexico for two major companies.
Okay.
The first one was named the name was Mexicana Airlines. I worked there for 25 years.
Wow.
And then I was in another company after that. I worked there for 10 years in Interjet. But during the pandemic, the company closed operations and sent us home. And we're still waiting for the call.
Yeah. That's,
They just told us, go home, I'll call you. And now the company is closed.
oh,
They closed operations, and there is no company and there is no job. Yeah.
So during that long time of working, like you have many experience. So can you name me like some types of aircraft like you did fly, and what was your favorite aircraft to pilot?
Well, I flew this Boeing 727.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's I think that it has been the best airplane built because it was a beautiful plane and it was an era for that plane. And after that, I flew. Well, I think that the for I flew for 25 years the Airbus family. I flew the Airbus 318, 319, 320, 321, and that's another kind of airplane. You know, it's not as beautiful as the 727,
Yeah, that's true.
but this kind of airplane has new technology. Is fly by wire. You don't have the wheel to fly the plane. It is with a joystick, like if you were like if you are playing some kind of game. And it is a high technological airplane with a lot of. It has the Airbus has 250 computers, no, and everything is computerized with a lot of technology.
So Boeing and Airbus is like two common aircraft. I mean, and so which one is like easier to like pilot? Like, I mean, Boeing is bigger, right? I don't know if there's a difference piloting it, like, or it's just the same, like,
It is very different because the Boeing and the
yeah.
727 is the old aviation where you used to fly the plane. The autopilot was it only the autopilot only flies a straight and level flight. No,
Oh,
it can navigate. But the Airbus, oh my God, is you can do a lot of things with the Airbus because the Airbus has a lot of technology
that's true.
and the Airbus is flown as I told you with a joystick, and sometimes you don't feel that you are flying the plane because it is not the same because all the joystick it can only send in uh, electrical signals to the servos, and all is artificial. And in the Boeing it is a real plane. You are flying a real plane. No, that's a big difference because now let's say that if you buy, do you know the flight simulator game?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah.
heard.
Well, if you buy that program, the flight simulator, and you choose maybe Airbus or the new Boeings or something like that, you can learn how to fly
Yeah. Wow.
because you are flying like the airplane. It is almost very close to the reality. No, sometimes when young boys get into the cockpit and they starting asking us, about the things in the cockpit, they know everything. They know
Yeah,
everything because they have played with the flight simulator, and it is not the same with the old Boeings or the Boeing 727. With that kind of airplanes, you have to have the skills, to do
yeah.
it. It is not the same. And I know now that maybe if you are good with the flight simulator, you are gonna be very close to fly a plane.
I mean, that's a good way to practice. Yeah.
Yes, it is a good way. Yeah.
So even though Airbus is like smaller, right? But it has more technology. So you prefer piloting Airbus over.
Yes, because you have to. I think that you have to have more knowledge of a lot of things because In the old airplanes like the 727, or I don't know if you remember the DC-10, those airplanes used to have three pilots: the captain, the co-pilot, and the flight engineer. And
Oh,
there were three pilots on the plane performing different tasks. And now these kind of airplanes, they are only for two pilots.
yeah, that's
The flight engineer was he was fired. He was fired, and there is a big panel above, and that panel is doing all the tasks
yeah,
that the flight engineer used to do, and everything is automatic. And I think that it is a different kind of flying, because as a pilot, all pilots prefer to fly old planes because they are real, you know.
yeah,
But the airplanes that are now, that modern airplanes are sometimes easy, and sometimes you rest more. You are, I don't know. It is not easy, but you are more relaxed in
yeah.
those planes. Mhm.
Uh, so like you said, you have 35 years experience, right? Like working with airplane and stuff. So how many hours did you fly? Like, cause I usually heard about like a pilot experience. They usually use hours flying on the sky to.
Yeah,
So how many hours? Did
I I have 23,500.
wow, that's really decent. And I
Yes, it is a lot. Yes, it is a
I'm
lot.
impressed.
Yeah. Yes, it is a lot of hours. Yes.
So in 23,000 500 hour of flying, what's a cool or fun story that you could tell when you were a pilot? Like, what's the first?
Oh, well, I think that one of the most, well, one that I remember is that when I was taking off in a state here in Mexico,
Mhm.
when we took off, we hit a vulture, a big vulture, and the
Oh,
vulture hit the engine, and
oh,
the engine started to make a loud noise, and some strange noises. The the passenger cabin started to smell bad, and with
oh,
a lot of smoke, no. And
oh,
we have to return to the airport because the engine was damaged.
oh,
Yeah, and we have to make some special procedures because we were flying only with one engine, and 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 it is an emergency procedure because you only have one engine. No,
oh,
we have to return to the airport. And that's one. And I remember that, oh, well, when I was flying the 727, we were just about to level off the plane at maybe at 33,000 feet. And we received a call from the controller to told us to communicate with the company because they needed to to talk with us. And then I called the company, and I was told that we took off from Chicago,
okay,
and
Chicago.
we were told that the sheriff's office called them and told them that we had a bomb.
Oh, like on the plane?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, and oh my God, that was a good one because we have, the airplanes take off with one weight and land with another weight that it is much more less than the takeoff weight. And then we took off from Chicago and we were we were going to fly to Mexico City, and we have a lot of fuel, and the airplane was very heavy to land, and we have to ask permission to dump fuel, and
Oh,
we have to dump for more or less 15 tons of fuel on the air.
like on the air, and then it's gonna drop like that to the
Yes, the
land, right?
airplane has small nozzles on the wings, on the tip of the wings.
Yeah.
And if we open those nozzles, the fuel start to flow out.
Oh, so those
And
gasoline probably hit the ground and stuff.
no, no, because we were very high, and you
Oh,
have a
so
special
like that
area.
side. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get.
we have a special area to do that because
Oh
when
yeah,
you are
yeah.
dumping fuel, it is like a gas. It is not liquid. It is some kind of gas. And if an airplane gets into that cloud of gas, the other airplane is going to explode. No? And then we have a special area to dump the fuel. And when we had the proper way to return, we returned with an emergency landing to Chicago to land. And then we land, and you know that all the firefighters were there, the police, all of
So
that. And then we stopped, and all the people get off the plane, and they were trying to find the bomb, but it was a scam.
oh my God. So
But
oh,
you don't know. But you don't know.
but
You
just to
don't
make
know.
sure, yeah, yeah, to
Yes, you
come
don't
back.
know what is happening because
Yeah.
you don't know when the bomb is going to explode. And it took us around 10 minutes to return, maybe 15 minutes to return, but we were worried because we didn't know, that some bombs has an electronic device that it is like an altimeter to determine when it is going to explode. No? Maybe if, when you are going down or when you reach certain level, or it can be with timing. And we didn't know if it was with timing or with some kind of aneroid inside, or something like that. No, and you don't know the truth.
Sure. How, how did you feel at that moment? Like it's very dangerous and
Well, when you are, let's say that when you are having a problem on the plane, your first task is to focus on the problem. You don't have time to be worried, or because we are trained to do that, no? And then you have to try to you react, and you try to fix the problem always, no? Then when you get in on the ground, or you go to the hotel, you start thinking, oh my God, what was happening? And that's when you think in a lot of things. Maybe you want to rest and you cannot sleep because you
yeah,
were stressed, no? When you have a high level of stress, sometimes you cannot rest because your body is shaking or something like that.
yeah.
Or
But you must stay calm when you were flying on the flight. That's
yes, you have to be very calm. Yeah.
so. Since you were a pilot, a job that must travel around the world, like every flight, right? So, which is my favorite lifestyle, like travel around the world. So, how many countries have you been to?
I only flew in America,
America.
the whole America, and I flew to United States, and I had the opportunity to be in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, Houston, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, What else? Also, a lot of places in the United States, and I used to fly to Toronto, to Montreal, to Vancouver, to Edmonton,
Oh, that,
all those places in Canada. Some other places in Canada, but I don't remember exactly. And in Central and South America, I flew to Guatemala, Salvador, eh, Nicaragua, to Colombia, to
wow.
Peru. What else? Maybe some other places. Just America.
Oh,
Just
so
America.
just that side of America, but
Yeah.
mostly like in United States, right?
Yes, yes, and my whole country, we had a
Oh, domestic, yeah, sure.
domestic flights in Mexico, and some flights were, let's say that we took off from Mexico and then we go to Cancun and then to New York, no? With
Oh,
New York with one stop in Cancun or some tourist places, something like that.
so you have been to many places like on the world, especially America. What was your favorite destination or route to fly, and why did you enjoy flying there?
Well, you know which place I love? Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Vancouver, oh my God, is really, really a good place. It is beautiful.
Yeah,
It is
that's
a beautiful. If you are in the downtown, oh, it is really a beautiful place. I think that it is a beautiful city. It's clean, and it is clean. It is an easygoing city. The landscapes are beautiful. You can be in the downtown, and the sea. It is right there with big ships,
yeah,
and there are a lot of restaurants. You can go to some places. Some mountains with forest. It is and the weather
yeah,
is not,
especially
yeah, it's not so bad. It's not so
yeah,
bad.
it's
I've
warm.
been there in the winter, but I've been in Toronto and in
Yeah,
Montreal, and
that's
the
true.
winter is terrible, man,
Yeah,
terrible.
that's true. Yeah,
Yes,
agree with that.
those are, I think, the worst places during winter, no, during
Yeah,
winter.
during the weather.
You cannot go any place because you cannot. Well, you know that we used to go to hotels. We Sometimes we don't have a car, sometimes we need something to eat, and there is the hotel, and you go out of the hotel and there is a lot of snow. And if you want to go someplace, you need to call a cab. That it is not easy
Yeah,
because you spend a lot of money
that's
just to
true.
go to eat a hamburger or something. But I think that Vancouver is a good place, and of course, in the United States, there are beautiful places too, or well, nice cities to sightsee. Oh, nice cities used to be there, like New York is a most known place. No? New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, those are good places. No,
That's true.
those are.
So whenever you fly to a certain place, let's say you fly to Vancouver, how many days you stay there before you have a fly again? Have to fly again.
Let me tell you something. Sometimes, the most of the time,
Hmm.
sometimes we arrive, let's say today, we spend the night and maybe the day there, and the next day we return. By the flight to
Oh,
Vancouver, it was 6 days. You arrived there the first day, you had 4 days off, and
oh,
then
that's
you return the last day. And it is wonderful because we were almost on vacation.
yeah. So like you were working and traveling at the same time, which is
Yes,
good thing. Ah,
yes. Hmm.
so To sum up these sessions, I have the last question for you is looking back on your career as a pilot, a very good job. What accomplishments or milestone are you most proud
Oh, I couldn't hear you well.
of? What accomplishment, like what achievement or milestones are you most proud of? Like being a pilot, like what are you most proud?
What did I like most to be a pilot?
Yeah,
Well, it is a good job. It was a wonderful job because, as I told you, it is a well-paid job. No, you can you can go to a lot of places. I met a lot of people in different places. As a pilot working in an airline, uh, you have free tickets to travel with your family, you know, and it is a good job. It is a good job, really, really a good job to
and
well, it is a good job, but it has a lot of issues too because I was never at home.
oh, that's
Never. I was never at home, and forget about birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas. When all the people is traveling to have vacations, you are working.
yeah.
When the people is spending their time in some other place, you are sleeping because you have to work at night. And it is a good job, but it has its issues because no, when about your family, you are never home when they are growing, your sons and daughters are growing up, and you missed a lot of good things, no.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like to become a pilot, like just say in Mexico, right? What like requirement like you have to meet to become a pilot? Like
Well,
your
in Mexico, the first one is to have a pilot's license. You
yeah.
have to be Mexican.
Okay. Amazing.
It is the first requirement. You have to be born in Mexico to have a Mexican license, no? And then you need high school.
High school.
You need high school. Of course, if you study some kind of degree or something like that, it is better because when you are going to ask for a job in a big company, they are going to see your resume. And if you are more prepared, of course, that you have more chances to be hired. But I think that it is born in Mexico and high school, and of course to have your pilot license. No.
So how about the like height minimum? Like the height
Oh, yes, it is. I think that it is 160 in meters.
160 centimeter? Wow.
160, yeah.
Oh, I
Or
didn't
one,
expect it.
one. I think that it is 160. Yeah, some around that 160, 165, and one. I think that 160 for girls, something like that.
Oh, so it's not
Or
like that high. Like I
no,
expect.
no, no.
Oh,
No, I had as all things in life, I had some friends that maybe there were 155 and they were there. I don't know how they did it, but well, to get a job, to become a pilot, no. To become a pilot, if you reach the pedals and the wheel,
uh,
you can do it because there are
uh,
very young guys that they are about 15, 16 years old that they are learning how to fly. To learn how to fly, it depends on the school, but you don't have a. But if you want to get a good job as a pilot, yes, you need a certain. requirements with the company. Mhm.
Ah, I
But
think
to be, let's say that to learn how to fly, you only need money to pay the school.
yeah, like in Mexico, right? You have like in university, do they teach you to become a pilot, or you have to join another like school to become a pilot, like a special school?
No, you just need the high school, and then
That's
you go. You need to find a school.
oh, so
And
different school.
yeah, the only thing that I forgot to tell you is, yeah, do you need to pass physical exam, a
Oh, physical. Yeah,
medical exam? Yeah, you have to pass that exam too. It is a requirement. You have to have a good vision. You have to have. You need to be healthy.
yes.
Mhm. If you are, I don't know if it is okay to say this in English, it is daltonic. Daltonic is when you see different colors.
Oh,
I don't know what is the name for that. When you
I don't.
when you cannot see the right colors, you see blue instead of red or something like that. In Spanish, is daltonic. Or I don't know if it is the same in English, but you cannot be a pilot if you have that kind of problem.
Oh, well, that's I think that's my last question, and that's it for today's sessions. After like talking to you, after talking with you, I feel like I have a better like knowledge about pilots, especially the height thing. I thought that they're gonna be like 180 or something, but it's
No, 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 you don't need that.
because like I usually like pilots are pretty high, like in my point of view, so that's why I was thinking. But
maybe
yeah,
maybe the companies, maybe I don't know, United or maybe Air Canada or something like that. Maybe they have some special requirements to hire
yeah,
the people, but it is like any other job, maybe only requirements. But I don't think so.
so
Yes.
it's really good to talk to you. We have a very good conversations, and I really enjoy it. So I don't know what to say. Uh, so I think that's it for these sessions, and I appreciate your time spending to talk with me, and uh, I hope you have a good day and good retirement stuff.
Okay, Nam, it's been a pleasure to know you and to talk with you. And I hope that you understand me well.
Yeah, I understand you like completely like 95% of the time. So yeah,
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna trying to improve more. Your
I
father
think
and I, we are going to work hard to.
yeah, he's working hard though, right?
Yeah.
With you and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, have a good day, like the rest of your day, and
Okay, Nam. Thank
I
you.
will
Have
hope to see you
a
later.
good day and a good weekend.
Thank you.
And start enjoying the sun there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have any plan for the weekend or?
Well, not much. We are going now after this session. We are going to have a breakfast with some friends, and after that, I don't know what we are going to do. And tomorrow, we are going to church and
Oh,
to eat somewhere out outside, and that's it. Normal, regular life.
yeah. So like it sounds cool though. Like anyway, enjoy your weekend and
Okay, Nam.
have a good day.
Okay, see you
Bye.
soon, Nam,
See
and
you.
say hi to your father
Yeah.
when
See you.
when you see him. Maybe I'm gonna see him sooner than you.
Oh, probably, but I'm coming back to Vietnam on next Friday. So yeah.
Oh well, you are finishing your school.
So next Monday, like this Monday, I'm gonna finish school like and then it's summertime for me too.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
anyway,
Okay.
have a good day
Okay,
and see you.
Nam. Okay.
Have a good
See
one.
you. Bye
See you.
bye.